Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, we got to know Barak von Zieks a little better, at last. It seems that, well, he's quite selflessly putting himself in harm's way if it means keeping up the charade of this Reaper persona, if it means deterring crime. And we also learned he hails from a rather illustrious, rich family. And there are family members out there, which is something to consider. It's also kind of interesting because Barak von Zieks, he has notedly said that he has a vendetta against the rich people who commit crime, which is saying something coming from him because, well, he's from a well-to-do family. So I wonder if there's a deeper history in that regard. Also, Van Zieks now has an apprentice, a mysterious masked man, who I am 100% certain is Kazuma back from the dead? And apparently, I don't even think it's like some sort of amnesia plotline anymore because, like, Mael Stronhart, the Lord Chief Justice, was like, just gave Van Zieks strict orders to accept this mysterious stranger as an apprentice, and it's all very hush-hush, covert and all that, so man, there's just a lot going on. Not to even mention the laser, which we're here to inspect now. It seems that the engineer who constructed it for the sake of Professor Hairbrain is none other than Gina Lestrade, so let's meet her. Anyway, what gives, then? Don't tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me, that's the situation, is it? Is it really that troubling? A measly 5 bob, is that all you got? Yeah, it's her! Oh, she stole money. Great. You're a lawyer, ain't ya? You could stand to carry a bit more copper around in your pockets, Mr. Naruhodo. She's finding new ways to mispronounce his name. What? Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back, but I'll have to charge you for all the bother. 3 bob. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket or diver, born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, this is the young girl I was defending in court. I like her new outfit, too. What's your problem, eh, Odo? Diver? Pickpocket? What's with all the name-calling? You want a bag of chips rammed down your throat and all, do ya? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you'd been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, Odo. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now, learning to be a Scotland Yard detective. Oh, that's way better. Cool. So you'll have to call me what everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Wow! That's cool. Yeah, I'd read a book series, a noir, about an Inspector Lestrade. That's cool. Also number 997, huh? Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely. The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls her that. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right, well, I'll be back up top. You hold the fort down here, all right? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. And I can't wait to ask her about it, so let's examine. The elusive and rare pan up. Wow, don't see that often. Oh, when was the last time we actually could do that? I forget. These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. Wait. Oh, come on! Sorry, Gina, get back to you in a bit. I see scuff marks on the rear of it and the center. Broken chains. Huh. So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion, and I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course. Hurley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. Ah, that might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time, he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. What? I wish you'd been there to see it, Runo. It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. No, it's not. It's time to go back downstairs. Oh, look, Inspector Gregson is over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. How do I move back down? Okay, I'm gonna run over to Sholmes' house, and then I'm gonna move right back into the fair. That is how you go down a flight of stairs in this game. Alright. Oh, look! What's this? A ripped piece of cloth. Huh. It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. It looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion. No, you think? Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. Yeah, she's been very patient waiting for us to just go up the stairs and run back to the office and all that. We'll look at it closer later. For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot. Look. Almost as if there was a fire here or something. Yes, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burned embers, too. Well, I suppose there was a big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at a small fire like this would have been. Wait. Oh, at a small fire like this would have been. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure we English are quite that laid back, Runo. Oh, it looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped? Or hid? That's not hidden in the slightest. It looks like some kind of crossbow. What is this? Some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above in the blast, perhaps. What's going on here? Oh, nothing. I think I'll hang on to this just in case. Mysterious contraption has been entered in the court record. By all accounts, that looks like a crossbow. Or maybe it shoots out a grappling hook. Was someone trying to scale the crystal tower? The Crystal Tower. It's certainly an apt name. Oh my god, I can't stop thinking about Final Fantasy. There's a Crystal Tower in 3 and in 14. And I love both of them. Okay, well, except maybe the former. The former is butt. No save points. Got to start from the start if you die to the final boss. Oh god, the trauma. It was built to be the focal point of the exhibition. And it definitely is, being so tall and with all that glass. I can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan.
There are lots of exhibits inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's an observation deck, but there is also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum.
A zoo?
But I heard you have to queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors.
Well, at the moment, the shattered glass from the failed experiment may well be the biggest draw.
And thanks to that accident, the whole tower is shut.
Suddenly, it's not the Crystal Tower anymore, but the Crystal Glass Shower.
Apparently everyone's taking to the skies now to look down on the disaster area from above instead. But there's a 3-hour queue to go up in the balloon now.
Londoners must be very patient people. I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, but what are those funny round blobs floating in the sky?
Oh, they're the flying balloons I've been talking about. I want to go up in one so much.
I've read about situations like this in a magazine about strange phenomena. Creatures from outer space coming in round flying objects to attack Earth.
What?
I suppose inhabitants of other planets are bound to be interested in the Great Exhibition. This is it, Iris. It's happening.
It's not. Don't worry. I'll explain it all to you later over a nice cup of tea, Runo.
I can't tell if he's being serious.
That's where the Cove ended up after his instant kinesis or whatever they call it. Dead, of course.
And yet they're calling the experiment a success.
What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers, or our lads, set that up after the incident happened. To get the body down, I think. Dunno, really.
Didn't you help to erect the scaffold then?
Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Wandering around the exhibition and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff.
So you were goofing off. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? You know, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it if this actually happened. I've seen the bullshit this series can pull off. So, let's examine the evidence we just picked up in greater detail. I want to say this would be part of a balloon. Wow, these parts here and here, it's actually 3D. It's like shredded up and you can see the layers. They didn't have to detail it that much, but they did. I'm impressed. I can't find anything out of place. Well, yeah, not there. It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Sholmes' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring, Must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. It's like he was really here. Yeah, it's got like a collapsible stalk. It's, by all accounts, that is 100,000% a crossbow. What, to shoot a balloon and pop it? Or maybe there is something to that grappling hook theory. Hello, can I find something to look at here? Oh. Ah, there is some sort of lever here. What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. Crossbow. You know, it's of a pretty fancy make. Clockwork gears. I don't think this would be the weaponry carried around by any old street ruffian. No. This says affluence to me. This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's a sort of bow and an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. Well, sudden flashback to my Let's Play of Fate Stay Night and the archery club. Oh. In fact, if I'd had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyudo archery training. Yeah. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Wait. Oh, was that Iris? It's so hard to tell for me. Ugh, I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Well, it's fancy. Maybe we can get some skin prints detection on this. Okay, at last, let us present. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective. This is how it feels. The tables have turned. Ah! She showed me her badge of office. Oh, sacred moment. Ah! Wow. So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me, well, anything but Otto. I could call you Defender Naruhodo if you like, but it don't really trip off the tongue. No, it doesn't have a great ring to it, does it? Gina, would you take a look at... Oh, where did it go? Looking for this, Otto? When did she do that? I wonder if you've got anything else to show me, eh? What do you reckon? Give that back first, please. Okay, nothing there. How about the crossbow? Nope. Fair enough. Let's talk, at last. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina in connection with the case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder.
I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realized I couldn't go on like I was. The dive-in weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done.
So you went from being a pickpocket to a detective?
You got it. Good, isn't it? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh?
Oh my god. Yes, it does. That's exactly what I said. I would read a noir about an Inspector Lestrade. What the hell? This game's under my skin sometimes, man. Talk about a sea change. A what? A sea change? What?
And then there's Iris's old man to think about.
Iris's father, you mean?
Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for him.
Just a small promise then, nothing serious.
Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, that's how come I had a go at the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I?
Just a small problem, nothing serious.
And that's when Hurley approached Gregsy and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made her a sort of apprentice.
That was very, very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson, and brave.
Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants.
The great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words.
So, the long and short of it is, if you've got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade.
Right then, Inspector. You know, I wonder if her new green coat is a reference to Gumshoe. You think? Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there?
Oh, what, Runo? Rot.
Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet here she is still.
Come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called. Cor, you don't half worry, Otto.
If I didn't half worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left.
It's like I told you before, isn't it? The Reaper's kinda like him upstairs, so he knows what I'm like on the inside, that I ain't really done nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong might be stretching a point.
What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he?
Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought.
Exactly, so I ain't worried. I'm totally fine.
Fair enough.
Cor, it was out of this world, it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine, and suddenly it started billowing smoke.
Oh, are you an eyewitness?
Then it just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet.
Sorry?
You mean you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Keeping everything running smooth, I mean.
The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to take some getting used to.
So all I have to say is that I'm on duty and I can do whatever I want to. Get this, I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No! You're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too.
Oh, she would be a wonderful inspector.
Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You'd have no trouble at all. Then it's settled. When do I start?
No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris.
We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success, in a way.
It was? How can it have been? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success.
It's like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and that whopping great bang. But where'd you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the crystal tower over there.
What? In the tower?
You can see it for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Oh, where all the glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage what the victim got in to start with really did get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it?
What? I don't believe it.
I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. Oh, I tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment they drew up at the yard.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go on. I had 3 bob off you before, so fair's fair.
Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? Aha, thank you. Let's look at it right now. I mean... Okay, that's pretty bare bones. But I'm sure it's going to be very useful. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange.
For what it's worth, anyway, investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes, naughty old Gregsy ran off after that without explaining himself. Oh, right, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant.
In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations?
Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither.
Alright, yeah. Someone very powerful is bribing and trying to hide this, get it swept under the rug.
Why? What did the boss call him again? The forensic investigation team, I think? Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, ain't it?
So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate? Yes, I've never heard something like that before.
I thought I could have a gander on the quiet, though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard him giving me an earful about it before from down here, didn't ya?
Now that's what that was about.
It's not bleeding fair.
I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Otto? Go on, see if you can get through to him.
He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where the machine that exploded is.
We can try, can't we, Runo? Gregsy will listen to us.
Well, listen to you. Oh, that's good, that's good. Well, thank you, Gina. Let's head upstairs. Alright, usually I try to examine, but I think I already know he won't let us, so... may as well try and see the dialogue. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it?
Magnificently and mercilessly.
So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled, and then beamed through the air.
Yes, beamed, not blasted. That's the point.
Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris?
Oh, Runo, I'm just a child. How should I know?
A child when it suits you, you mean?
From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this lever here... Stop! Don't touch that! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over here just now, Gregsy.
Please, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up there.
So sorry. You could have some of my latest special blend to make up for it.
Ah, wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. It's just like old times, this is. Well, I guess we got his attention. We are representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene. Ha! Listen, Sunshine. Even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty. Oh, yes, that special dispensation. The professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes.
But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Huh? Surely that's all right, isn't it, Gregsy?
Oh no, this poor man. Oh no. Oh, caught between a rock and a hard place.
Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Runo?
She really knows how to get what she wants. Alright, well, let's look with our special eyes. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Hairbrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? He asks, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we?
Because of the annoying rules, you mean?
Exactly! The annoying, obstructing, flamin' rules. Oh, look at the base of the machine there.
Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh.
Looks like a bolt screwdriver. It's a screwdriver, I think.
Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A.
It is? Oh yes, you're right. Probably for Albert Hairbrain. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said. Yes, I understand, sorry. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit.
But, Gregsy, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really very, very curious.
So what do you want to bet that screwdriver was the projectile fired from the crossbow?
Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Ryuno found it first.
I assure you I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it.
Huh, that was very mean, I'm afraid. Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now.
Oh no. Poor Gregsy. Oh, that's terrifying. There's really nothing to say about the white ribbon on this microphone stand. When I first saw it at the intro of this case, I noticed how it was like burnt a bit and I was like, what's going on there? But now I'm thinking maybe they just made this model for this wreckage scene and just reused it, so it was pre-singed. To keep my sanity, I'm gonna tell me that's the case here. Nothing particular of note. Really? Nothing to say about William and Turner? Okay, if you're sure, game. What is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel.
Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins you can see.
Why?
Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery.
Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still.
Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour.
I doubt that. They sped it up for the purposes of this game. If you were mad enough to go into one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think?
I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Ryuno.
I'm looking skyward. So those are people carrying balloons dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly. But I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colorful floating tamari handballs.
I'm sure it must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Let's take a ride together, Ryuno, please.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guarantee that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared.
Oh well, in that case I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground, as long as it doesn't explode.
Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play on my mind a little. That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the Crystal Tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going.
I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, Ryuno. It was set up to beam people to the Crystal Tower, where they'd be reconstructed in their original form.
Well, I don't like the look of it. If it was as amazing as it looks, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course.
suppose that's true, yes.
But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? Well, as long as we aren't allowed to look at it, I suppose the finer details will have to wait. Oh, the hell? You're back? Welcome back? Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body, and then beam him across to the Crystal Tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public.
True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, mind.
To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean.
The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see.
Yes, I suppose that's true, in a way.
So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain in their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical idea and even going into production. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new highfalutin Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it.
Ah, I see now.
The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department at the Yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. We've been relegated to keeping guard.
The Forensic Investigation Team?
Any old fool can see that this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. But just because it says scientific experiment on the paperwork, we can't do a flamin' thing with it. Poor Gregsy. He's very head up, isn't he?
Head up? Huh. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here?
Are you having me at it, Sunshine? It's the Special Dispensation for Scientific Experiment Act.
How many more times are you going to make me say that? It's worse than extraterritorial rights. It's worse.
Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with a real twinkle in his eye, as I remember. I'm sure he did, your ladyship, I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition, it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality.
What does that really mean?
Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself.
Wow. Thanks for that.
Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's all so fun. It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine hang science, that's what I say. Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers' bogus contraptions.
But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point.
Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly.
Sorry?
Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant.
The scientists get funding.
Exactly, and that's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. And who has to keep 'em all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science. Hang it. Oh, maybe I can see your point.
Apparently Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research.
That's right. Came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants.
Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. It turns out he was at university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zieks.
Eh? What's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zieks mans the prosecution, then as the accused, the professor's fate is...
sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or another.
Blimey, that man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zieks, this morning's papers ran the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh, yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still the Reaper, huh? How long's that business gonna keep up, I wonder?
Oh, yeah, what do you have to say about Van Zieks? The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Stinky, he was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard.
Lord Barak Van Zieks is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win.
Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it?
Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zieks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court. Although the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zieks is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't just have coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper.
Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Van Zieks was a totally different person, easygoing and kind.
You what?
He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was?
No clue.
Really?
Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh?
Oh, he knows. He 100% knows.
Right. Are you done here, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Isn't it about time you were leaving? Or rather, it is about time you were leaving. That lot are here now. That lot? The forensic investigation team. They'll be giving me the heave-ho in a minute, too. Oh dear, poor Gregsy. Here, have another cup of my special blend to cheer you up.
Glug, 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 glug.
Ah, that hit the spot. Yep, hits it every time.
This man is in immense pain. Well, at least I've seen the scene with my own eyes. It looks like this is as far as we're going to get with our investigations here, at least.
I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he?
About what?
About Mr. Reaper.
About what happened to Lord Van Zieks, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's standing right behind me, isn't he? He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he?
Here, this is what you need.
Madam Tuspells? 2 spells? 2 spells. Okay. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madam 2 spells. Is this supposed to mean something to me?
You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you like.
No, we don't have any time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow.
But that's where Hurley is.
What? At this popular London attraction?
Yes.
How is it that you know where he is? Whoops.
Hurley told me, but he told me to keep it a secret from you, Bruno.
Madam 2 spells? I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then stranger things have happened. And when they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Well, thank you, Gregson. That'll be all. Well, we have a little bit of time left in this video, so what say you take a quick little gander at it. A museum of interesting waxwork exhibits not far from Baker Street. Waxworks, you say? Don't tell me. Okay, if I see wax statue replicas of people, I'm gonna have thoughts. Alright, I have thoughts. Also, I think I just saw the sleepy guardsman. Wow. I think that's him. I recognize his very colorful scarf. Right, so lifelike wax statues. Lifelike wax statues. Oh, no. I already know that one's involved in this case. At some point, Mr. Stinky got replaced by a wax clone, either in the chamber of the explosion or over at the Crystal Tower. Yeah, I'm thinking the teleportation thing was a sham from the start. I'm thinking that the crowd looking from below at the base of the laser. Yeah, there was some swap, right? Like the well, okay, I don't know for sure, but at some point The wax statue was shown to the crowd in the hopes of fooling them. There was no teleportation. They would fake the success of the machine. But at some point, someone fired that screwdriver with the crossbow into the machine and made it blow up. Something happened, man. Oh, my head's swimming with shenanigans. Well, anyway, next time I guess we'll talk to Herlock and Mr. Sleepy Guard, whose name I completely forget. I wonder... Hold on, I can actually compare ages. Wait. Yeah. So, Sholmes is 34, Van Zieks is 33, Hairbrain's 33. Oh yeah. The ages match up. What do you want to bet they all attended university together? The trio of them. Why did I just get the dumbest freaking idea I've ever had? Is it just me, or does Herlock kinda look like the person that was in the floor-to-ceiling portrait in Van Ziek's office? Do you think Sholmes is a Van Zieks by birth? The scary thing is, I can't think of a reason why that couldn't be. I mean, people do change their names for a variety of reasons. We know that Barrack is the youngest Van Zieks, and Sholmes is older by 1 year. Yo. Okay, I have nothing to go on with this theory other than a passing resemblance to a portrait that I looked at for like 0.5 seconds. But it would be pretty cool. It would be really cool. What the hell? Yeah, wow. Before this moment, I never even considered for a second. Oh, I kind of wish I could remember more distinctly their interactions. Oh, well, okay. My brain is sizzling like a fried egg at this point, so... I'm Zephyr the Jester. This is more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care. Hey, wait, do you think that darkly clothed lady in the wax exhibit right there, do you think that's like an homage to the design of Darklaw from Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright? Could be. Kinda has a similar hairstyle, kinda. Yeah, take care.